All right, I know I made this video again, but there's a lot of you guys that still need to hear this, man. Here's the thing. 6 months of consistency will change your life. Like, not 6 months of just being like, you know what, let me do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and wait for the 6 months to pass by. Because we know the 6 months is going to pass by regardless. No, I'm talking about 6 months of locking the fuck in, bro. 6 months gives you enough time. It gives you enough time to become the person you need to become. Here's the thing. A lot of people will put in 3 good weeks and they'll be like, oh, I didn't get my results yet. I didn't get my results yet. What the fuck? And they'll compare themselves to someone who's been doing this shit for, nigga, I've been doing this shit for 10 years. All right, some people will be like, hey, I'll get like you in 4 months. It's like, no. You're like 40% body fat, number one. But you also have to get the habits down. It takes a lot of failure before you get the habits down. It takes a lot of learning yourself, learning why you do certain things, learning about why you eat certain ways, learning about trigger situations for certain foods. Like, there's a lot of mental mindset stuff that go down with the actual fitness journey, which is why you don't just hop on a plan and you're like lean in like 2 months. It's just not going to happen. All right. If theoretically, if you were to, let's say you're 30% body fat, theoretically, if you hop on a plan, you eat in a deficit, right? 1,000 calorie deficit every single day. So say your maintenance is 3,200 calories and you eat 2,200 calories every freaking day. The first 3 months, you'll burn a lot of fat. You'll burn through a lot of fat. You'll probably be like, 15 to 20% body fat. And then you lower the calories a little bit. And then the next 3 months, you'll get down to 10% body fat. That's 6 months overall, right? The issue is the mindset required to get to that point. It takes a lot of failure for us to lock in on a certain mindset, because you're not just gonna, like, nobody's perfect. You're not just gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm always gonna hit my macros. Sometimes it happens. I would say 1% of the time I train someone, they like literally, they're just like, all right, I'm in. But they usually had some kind of head start where they're already changing their habits, or the doctor diagnosed with them with something. So they're like, oh, I gotta lock in. I gotta get rid of this type 2 diabetes, right? It takes a lot of failure for you to really lock in on your journey, all right? To really be consistent for 6 months. All right, because there's going to be up and downs in the journey. You're going to step on the scale. You're not going to see what you want to see. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to binge. Then you're going to be like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. And then you're going to get right back on track. And then you're going to fail. Like, there's a lot of failures, all right? And failure is a prerequisite to success. But it is something that is going to happen when you're on this journey. You cannot avoid that shit, all right? A lot of people are just like, man, I'm going to get like you in 4 months. It's like, you don't have the consistency, the discipline. You've never been consistent for a week, like a full week of actually hitting your macros. You've never done it before. So before you get to that point, you got to put a few good days together. Then when you put a few good days together, you got to put a good week together. So a lot of people, when they have the 3 best weeks of their life, they want all the results in the world. It's like, even though you've had the 3 best weeks of your life, in retrospect, or from someone else's view, from my view, it's like, you did the bare minimum for 3 weeks. Congratulations. That's a start. You're not going to see all the results in the world from that. Like, you're like, man, I ate so good for 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. Fat loss happens at a certain rate. Like, if you do good for 3 weeks, you may have lost 3% body fat. If you're 40%, you may have lost 3% body fat. But to get to your goal of 10%, you have to do that week in and week out. It's that relentless mindset, that day in, day out mentality, man. Like, every single day I'm going to do my best. Every fucking day I'm going to do my best. Every day I'm going hard. Every day I want this. That's what it is. You don't feel like doing this shit, you still do this shit. That's the mindset it takes. And the issue is, so many people, they do what they fucking feel. So they feel motivated for 2 weeks, they lock in. They feel like shit for 2 weeks, so they lock out. Where are they at the end of week 4? Back to fucking square one. Everybody does that shit. All right, you gotta want this shit to the point where when you don't feel like doing that shit, you're still gonna do this shit. When you don't want to do a push-up, you still do the push-up. When you don't want to squat, it's raining outside, you're tired, your knees hurt a little bit, you still drive to the gym and you still squat. Because at the end of the day, back in the day, when you're the unhealthiest version of yourself, what would you do? It would be raining outside and you would still drive to get you some cookies, right? Yeah, you would still drive to get you some cookies and some bullshit, just to sit at home, eat that shit and not burn it off, all right? Now, when you want to be the best version of yourself, you still got to meal prep, right? When everyone else is eating cake and doing bullshit and moving without intention, you got to move with intention. It's all about thought, word, action, all right? I was reading Napoleon Hill. He was talking about definitive purpose, thought, word, action. When you think something, right, you have a plan for it, you have a plan of action. A lot of times, if you have a plan of action, we already know that shit doesn't work unless you have action behind it. So if you have a plan of action that says, hey, I'm about to lose this much in 6 months, I'm going to lock in for 6 months, and your actions are literally eating cake, skipping the gym, you're doing the opposite of your plan of action. You're not going to reach your fucking goals. All right. So yes, 6 months of locking in will change your life, but I'm talking about actually doing what you need to do for 6 months, not on and off, on and off. That shit doesn't get you anywhere. On and off is literally maintenance. All right. On and off when it comes to fitness is maintenance. This is not per diem work where you get paid and then you leave and then you get paid for the time you do. That's not how fitness works. You got to be locked in and make it a lifestyle, because you literally have to have that mindset every day. You can't be on and off and expect the results to happen. Like, too many people, it's the most common thing I see. All right. Specifically with like any clients I work with, it's like once they get over this mentality, they understand the 5 days 2 off rule. All right. Everybody thinks because they work 5 days and get paid for 40 hours and they take 2 days off, they can do the same thing with fitness. It does not work that way. You're not getting paid for the 5 days you eat healthy and then eating unhealthy for 2 days. It's not going to work. All right. The reason it doesn't work is because when you eat unhealthy for 2 days and you're used to being at maintenance, your body's going to automatically eat so much fucking bullshit to the point that you're at maintenance. And it's also going to create an unhealthy relationship with food, that you punish yourself for 5 days and then binge for 2 days. Unhealthy relationship. All right. So realize that locking in for 6 months means that you are doing what you need to do day in and day out, not when you feel like it. All right. All this taking days off and shit. You didn't take days off when you're getting fat as shit. All right. Let's just keep it a buck. You were committed to sitting your ass down on the couch watching TV and eating in a calorie surplus chips, cookies, fried chicken, pizza. Oh, you gonna finish that? Hey, you wanna go get some cookies? All that shit. You did all of that. All right. You didn't take any days off. And now you want to take every weekend off when it comes to getting fit. You're not going to get to your goals. And you're like, wait, it's all about balance. Oh, I need balance. You're out of balance when you're eating a bunch of food and getting to 30, 40, 50% body fat. Stop playing, bro.